so much again for joining us today. We are African Bijimba, welcoming today Patience Chinedu, who will be talking about African literature. And on the note, a beautiful message for all the viewers. We are called to educate our nations by passing on our stories, our life experiences, in a way to create a future that has answers for all our future generations. And with it said, let us welcome Patience Chinedu, who will give us a short introduction of what she does, who she is, so that we may hear from her.
Morning. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Chinedu. I'm a young writer. So I'm the young writer of a book called All of My Stars, which is just really a poetry book that is there to express, what I've experienced and sort of just to connect with people around me. I'm a girl of many skills, which means I'm intellectual, I'm literature, as well as, something I'm studying, which is software development and all those type of things. And I'm just really here to make a footprint for Africa, around the world and here in Africa too.
Wow, that's beautiful. So what motivated you to become a writer?
What motivated me to become a writer, I would have to give the credits to my family. My auntie, my granny, my mother, my father, all of them are telling stories. So wherever you go, anytime you come to the house, it's a story to be told. And that's something I really love to hear, because I just love to hear stories and I love to tell stories. And so something that pushed me to become a writer was because I wanted to share a story, whether it was my story or somebody else's story or whoever's story it is. I just wanted to tell a story. So that really was what pushed me to say, I'm going to write. It's just to tell a story.
Yes, well, that's beautiful. So that's what we're doing. We're sharing our stories in a way for us to re-educate our nations, for us to remind ourselves of our origins and our identity. So with it said, what were the challenges, or what are your current challenges being a young writer in Africa and a female young writer in Africa? What are your greatest challenges?
Like you mentioned something about identity. My biggest challenge is the fact that people already sort of have an identity of me before I can really showcase my art and showcase my writing skills. I think when it comes to writing as a young person, number one, a lot of people wouldn't take you that seriously because they say maybe you don't understand what you're talking about, or you're not going to write something with depth. And really also as a young female one, it's just people also just underestimate the fact that you're writing about real-time experiences, and your writing can be profound, it can be very educated, it can have a lot of substance behind it. So they create that identity away from that, away from my writing, and they sort of look at me as the female first and, the young first before the writer that I am.
Oh wow, sorry for that. And I know that's what one of the greatest challenge we have in Africa. We failing to acknowledge the woman in our society, and yet the woman is the one who is there to educate and to lead, especially with our future generations. So for me, I would say that keep pushing, keep going. We have a lot to learn from you. We have a lot that we are awaiting to hear from you, because you are a teller of our stories, and we should be able to see that this journey that you have undertaken should grow to become bigger, should grow to even feeding the souls of our future generations who might be having to learn and hear from you. With it said, who is that person that maybe motivated you, or beside your family, who is that writer that within Africa that motivates you and inspires you to writing?
This is something, a promise that I made for myself, was that I don't want to look up to anybody when it comes to writing, because I feel like I gradually head towards their writing style. And there is no use of me writing like another writer, because they might as well just write the book. But I do have a lot of women that I do look up to in terms of their personality, outside of their writing styles, that really motivate me. Somebody that's really big is Maya Angelou, which is also a really big writer. She's really good because she really sort of stands on what she has to say, and she's really big on saying what she wants to say. Another writer which wrote Purple Hibiscus, which we read in like high school, which is so good. Chimamanda, she is amazing. She writes so well, and I think she definitely tells a story, which I really love about her. Outside of her writing style, she definitely tells a story.
So when did you start exactly writing or developing the context of your first writing journey or career?
I started writing when I was in maybe grade 4 or 5. That's when I really started getting into writing, mostly because I was a chatterbox. I was speaking all the time and I was just saying, I just want to tell people everything. I want to tell you what happened yesterday, what happened the day before. And, people can only reach a certain limit before they're like, whoa, we can't listen anymore. And I think the page was my next friend. And I started writing back then. But then it was just only to talk and just write. And then later on, in about grade 7, I really got into reading. And I just really loved the fact that people were able to sort of, never mind tell a story, but were able to allow me to understand people's perspective outside of my own space and my own mind. So I wanted to sort of showcase that. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. That's so, so cool. And I want to do that. So I think officially in grade 7, where I was like, I definitely want to write a book where people can sort of see where I'm coming from, can see a character, can see who I am and my space and whatever the sort is.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That is such a great inspiration. So, for those who will be inspired and for those who are going to see you as their motivation to stand, is there any qualifications or any other skills that is needed for such a journey?
I think the best skill that I can say to anybody, and this is to anybody that wants to either write a book, stories, write music, whatever the case is to just educate yourself outside of yourself. So read books if you can read books, watch a lot of movies, travel, talk to a lot of people, because when you do that, you sort of understand how to connect with people. And writing isn't just about saying what you have to say, it's about making sure that somebody out there also sort of has an idea of what you want to say. So just that's the only qualification I can say. Be curious, come out of your space, come out of your circle. Don't just sit at home and be like, oh, I'm going to write. Just, be outside of yourself.
Yes, yes. So, what is your next book for Africa?
My next book for Africa is that it's a novel that I've just finished writing. It's just needs editing, which will come out next year. It's a novel that just sort of works around revenge and how people see revenge as people, and how individuals take on, like, how far can somebody go for revenge, and can love sort of be that drawing line between what is good and right. So it's just about a character, fictional character. It's a novel, and it's just talking about revenge, which is very special to my heart, the character and the book itself. So that is what is next. But I do have so many books that I want to share. Like, I was telling a friend of mine that sometimes they would give me an idea and I'd be like, I want to write a book about that. So I have so many books. Don't worry, Africa. I've got so many things that I want to share with
Can you
you.
share the titles of some of them that we can maybe look through, and maybe, those who are watching this can go about to reading to understand the beautiful messages that you have for them?
So the book that is officially out is All My Stars, which would be found on Amazon. So please go forth and check it out. It's a poetry book. It covers so much. It covers, the sense of identity for individuals, for young people, for even old people, and it sort of accommodates everybody. So check that one out. All My Stars on Amazon. And the one that is to come next year, so check it out, would be Melek, which is a novel, but we'll get more into it later. But the one that we need to focus on is the poetry book, All My Stars.
So, what would be your message to all the young people, the youth, the female, who are out there crying, who want to
Mm.
share their stories, but they don't know where to start or how to start with their dream or their purpose. What would be a message to them?
I think the best thing I can say for anybody is do you. Like, I know a lot of people say this, but really, if you try to sound like another artist or you try to sound like another writer, you are just not going to succeed. Every amazing person in writing, whether it's music, books, whatever the case is, they have all sounded like themselves. There was no comparison of they sound like Banban or they have a some. It was just them sounding like themselves. So just my advice is do you, act like you, say what you want to say. Don't try to sound like any American or UK artist or UK writer. Just sound like you from at home, wherever you come from. Just sound like you.
Wow, that's a beautiful message. What can my viewers learn from you? Who are you? What is it that keeps you motivated? What are the things that you're doing in your spare time? What can we get to know, to understand as our writer? Because when we're grabbing your book, we should also be able to understand who is the writer behind, who is the person behind. So what do you have to tell us on that?
So the person behind the book is just somebody that's really curious about the world. I am such a child. I love to see the world in very bright colors. Whether in my free time I'm just planting, doing my little herbs and spices, doing my plants, or whether I'm painting or writing itself, or whether I'm just talking to people, because I also love people. I love to talk to people and see what they have in mind. So the writer is just a curious young girl that is going to be a curious young girl for as long as I can. So that's just really me.
Thank you so much again for such a beautiful message. Thank you so much again for the beautiful books that you are releasing for us to inspire us to keep us moving with life. We will definitely look for them on our Amazon, as you stated, and get hold of one of the copies. And once I have one, I will definitely update you so that we may as well have an interview where you will have to just detail down what the book is all about, and so that people can understand exactly the meaning of having such a book in hand and how it can build us as African people. So thank you. Continue being the inspiration and the motivation. Be our writer. Go collect our stories, our lifestyles, our values, and share it with the world. So I would like to say thank you for today.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so happy that I was able to have this opportunity. I'm so happy that I'm speaking to people that would love to hear and be inspired by these. So thank you guys. Thank you.